Well, 75 years. Congratulations, Hillcrest Church. And I think back to the fact that I got to be there for 22 of those years. I remember way back when we came, Ann and I came as a very young couple to the church, and you warmly welcomed us. Even though I was really young and not experienced, I was entrusted with doing some preaching at the church, even though Hillcrest was the lead church at the time. And that sitting in the pew there was the denominational superintendent, Reverend Jeske. And then there was the president of Hillcrest Christian College and the faculty members. Like this was a major congregation. And here I get up and I'm fresh from Israel and I just came from my studies there. And I do remember preaching and being warmly received. About one time I made a gaffe. I was talking about this old monastery in Israel and all these ancient monks and how old they were. And I said, man, they must have all been at least be like 50. And when I said that, there was this groan that went across the congregation. And I realized, oh, that wasn't quite right. And now that I'm in my latter years, I would have been groaning too, because, yeah, perceptions do change as you get older. But in those early years there, the church just was so good at warmly receiving us. And I served under Vern Shore, and he welcomed me there. And then we had the tragedy of his death and his passing. And all of a sudden, I was the only guy there. And I remember the superintendent coming and saying, well, Dan, we got a good church here. The lay people, they will run the church. You just focus on your preaching and take care of that. And we'll look around and get a real pastor. I laughed internally, and I realized, yeah, I am pretty young for a big church like this. And we were going into a building program, and sure enough, they found Bill Cox. What a good lead pastor he was. Came with white hair and a deep voice and years of experience and an expert on church growth. And he brought such stability to the church. And he was able to lead that whole program and that whole side of the church. And I focus on discipleship. I remember making a discipleship program, and here some of the people who were older than me were signing up for discipleship, being accountable to me. I was stunned that there was that kind of humility to be able to be willing to be accountable. And then we added staff. I remember the first one was that when Vern passed away, and I was the only guy, I was walking out of church one day, and Clarence Knoll kind of came up beside me and said, Dan, would you like some help now? And I said, I sure would. And that's when Clarence and Eleanor came on and helped us with the seniors work at first and the newcomers, and we're just a wonderful partner in ministry. And we also added other staff, Randy, Kathy, and helped us with the music. And what a great start with King's Kids and children's programs. When I look back at all the things that we did and all the staff that we enjoyed, it was a wonderful time together. In fact, I remember Steve and Paul coming and being the youth pastor, and now being lead. Like how good that is when staff come and stay. So we had long tenures in our staff, which indicated the healthy relationship that we enjoyed as a staff together. And I do remember adding the different staff members, and each one brought their strength, and it was wonderful. And one of the things that, looking back, I realized was really important. Every morning at 10 o'clock, we had coffee time. And anybody that was in the building, lay people or staff members or whoever, everybody came for that coffee time. And Eleanor always brought goodies, and we had coffee and goodies and lots of laughter and fun. And that 30 to 45 minutes every day, I realize now, was a very good catalyst for just having these warm working relationships and results in long-term ministry together. So I thank you, Hillcrest Church, for your health and for getting Ann and myself going in ministry in those early years. And we look back with such warmth at our time at Hillcrest, and we pray God's richest blessings for the next 25 years for Hillcrest Church.